I can vividly remember the first time I heard Infinite. It gets pretty cold where I live in winter, and when you're 15, you can't just hang out in a pub on a weekend. So my friends and I used to look for all sorts of places where we could drink and smoke in peace, without upsetting anyone or garnering the attention of the police. One of these places was under a bridge of a local motorway, which we christened Smack Spoon Bridge, owing to a certain item of drug paraphernalia we found when we first went there. I've always loved music, and I used to take my iPod Classic and a pair of over-ear headphones everywhere I went in those days. Like in every single picture I'm in, I'm wearing a pair of headphones around my neck, playing some nice ambient music for my friends. More importantly, because I had a fucking excellent older brother, I had a massive library of music already installed that I had neither researched nor listened to. We have very similar taste in music, so it was basically a personally curated library with thousands of albums full of hidden gems I'd never heard just waiting to be discovered. Like a personalized Spotify or YouTube playlist but made by a real person rather than an algorithm. And one of the albums contained in this vast library was Eminem's debut album, Infinite. I behaved pretty madly looking back, but whenever I used to go out, especially after a pipe or two, I used to just put my headphones on and chill and listen to some music. And one night underneath Smack Spoon Bridge, I was listening to Eminem and saw an album I'd never heard of before. I clicked onto Infinite and was immediately blown away. After a while I took my headphones off and one of my friends asked me what I was listening to. I told him it was Eminem and he didn't believe me. He really liked Eminem and was shocked to hear that there was an album he'd never even heard of, never mind listened to. As much as I love Dr. Dre, and his work on Eminem's later stuff has produced some truly iconic tracks, the beats on Infinite are so much more my style. They have that 90s boom bap sound that I vibe with so well. It reminds me of all the other underground albums I've listened to in my time, and it's got that signature sound of a slept-on classic. Eminem's heartfelt music has always been my favourite. As great as he is as a lyricist when he's being a comedian, when he puts that same skill behind stuff that really matters, it has such a weight behind it that you forget it's the same guy who did this in Dre's Rapmobile for over 1 billion views. Lose Yourself, Sing for the Moment, and Stan are 3 of my favourite tracks, because it feels like I'm seeing the real Marshall Mathers behind the comedic persona of Slim Shady that made him famous, and I've always liked stuff that's down to earth. Even though I love the album musically, and his lyrical skill that he's known so well for is certainly apparent, the reason I love Infinite so much is the story it tells, the content of his lyrics, and the fact that I had listened to Eminem for about 10 years before I heard it. Infinite came out in November 1996 when Eminem just turned 24 years old, and it shows a completely different side to him as a person that we get glimpses of in his serious songs. The Eminem on Infinite is a poor, struggling artist trying his hardest to make it doing what he loves, while supporting his girlfriend and raising a child. Far from the high-production, high-budget music videos featuring Lisa Ann that he is so well known for now, Infinite was written and made by a man with a part-time job in a restaurant and sold on cassette tapes out of the boot of his car. Eminem himself estimates that he only sold 70 copies of Infinite, and it's estimated that only 1,000 were made. The spirit of why I love Infinite is perfectly encapsulated in the opening skit to Never Too Far, where Eminem stands waiting for the bus.
What up, man?
What up, dog?
You alright?
Chillin'. It's cold as hell.
Yes, it is. Hey, bus ain't coming yet, did it?
Nah, hey, look, you got 15 cents?
Nah, I got just enough to get on the bus. I'm broke.
We gotta go to the store right quick, man, because I'm short.
Yeah, we gonna have enough time to go to the store?
Nah, look.
You should just how much you got there?
I only got 75. You know what I'm saying? I got $1, you know what I mean?
In the skit we just listened to, Eminem comments to his friend Denon Porter, who did most of the production on the album, that he doesn't have 15 cents spare to lend him for his bus fare. Eminem doesn't have 15 cents. This is the man with songs with over 1 billion views on YouTube, with an estimated net worth of over $200 million, talking about how he doesn't have 15 cents. I know everyone has to start somewhere, and a lot of rappers have poor upbringings, but it was just such a shock to me when I first heard him talking like this, because Infinite was so unknown to me at the time. It felt so strange to hear Eminem, who was so crazy and confident and rich and famous, to be rapping about trying to get $500,000 for his newborn baby girl. Eminem is so big now that his name autocorrects to capitals when I type it into this script. It fills me with so much pride to hear the 24-year-old and poor but still skilled Eminem trying his hardest to make it in a harsh world, knowing full well how he becomes one of the biggest rappers of all time. And to hear him speak earnestly about his hopes and dreams and struggles, rather than the insane comedy that characterizes his later tracks. Going into each track in detail is beyond the scope of this video, but Maxine is a personal favourite of mine. A story of a crack-addicted prostitute with 3 kids at home and club hopping every night. It's Okay is a beautifully sad track, which initially captivated my interest in the album, where Eminem talks about his hopes and dreams in such a positive light for a man who clearly has nothing, and Open Mic, which is excellently sampled on Joey Badass's World Domination, and contains my favourite lyric on the entire album: "You couldn't flip shit playing in toilets with a spatula." Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that Infinite is my favourite Eminem album, not for its impressive lyricism or underground boom bap beats, but for the feeling that I finally connected with Eminem as a person in a way I just don't on his more successful stuff. It completely humbles me to hear this rapping giant talk about trying to make $1 million as if it's his biggest dream in the world, knowing full well he does so much more. Infinite still isn't available in its entirety on Spotify, and physical copies are rare. It's relatively unknown even today, and goes unheard even by people who love Eminem. So if you do like him, please give his debut album a shot. Thank you to my brother for having Infinite in your music collection. Thank you to 24-year-old Eminem for spitting your soul and never giving up. And thank you for watching. Peace.